fighting fires for close to 3 decades. But in the past 3 years, Gino De Bono has had a bigger battle on his hands.
I feel really fortunate that I'm still getting up in the morning and putting my clothes on and going to work.
In 1992, Gino's clothes came off, starring as Mr. July in the first ever Fireman's Calendar. He was labelled a hero in Sydney newspapers for saving people's lives. Today, though, Gino De Bono was out to protect his own colleagues by bearing some painful scars. Diagnosed with brain cancer and undergoing several surgeries, Gino is joining a fight to make workers' compensation easier to obtain for fireys. Studies linking the profession with various cancers, toxic gases, items and substances confronting members on a regular basis.
They are exposed to hazardous materials 365 days of the year, and they should be protected in legislation.
The chemicals that are in fires now, and fires now have even more chemicals in them than what they used to, and unfortunately that's what's causing the cancer.
We don't want to wait. There are families out there, families of volunteers who've given their time freely to protect the community, and they are suffering from cancers that they could be getting medical help for without having to fight tooth and nail to get it.
The unions are hoping when Labor presents this draft legislation to State Parliament this week, it will receive bipartisan support. The Premier today not committing, but confident she'll find a way forward.
Instead of walking out of danger, they walk into it. And that's why my government will make sure we have a response which is befitting what they do and really appreciates the dangers they face every day.
Every firefighter I know joined up out of a sense of duty. I think we deserve it.
Tim Davies, NBN News.
Ahead in the news, outrage as a fourth shark is culled over a spate of attacks in the Whitsundays. And a military display like no other in the Netherlands.
Australia, it's here. The first of the new season spring lamb has arrived at Coles, and this little logo guarantees it.
Coles Australian spring lamb whole leg roast, just $10.80 a kilo. Delicious.
Good things are happening at Coles.
Experience new Tic Tac gum. Great taste, very refreshing and crunchy. How many you chew is up to you. New Tic Tac gum, the fresh new gum.
Make the switch to Newcastle permanent, and you could get $1,500 cash back on one of our great variable home loans. We reward our customers, not shareholders, and are an award-winning alternative to the 4 major banks. Which means you can get a great home loan and get on with life. Make the switch to Australia's Home Lender of the Year today. Newcastle Permanent.
My property portfolio is protected by Terry Shear. I wouldn't trust anyone else.
As a first-time investor, Terry Shear provides the security I need.
You've got to be with Terry Shear. It's a no-brainer.
Call Terry Shear or go online.
Rugged, reliable, and now in run-out. The Mitsubishi Triton range is better value than ever, with Ripper deals plus $2,000 fuel cards. But hurry, the Triton run-out won't last long.
Ah, this great southern land. The Great Australian Bight! Yeah, it's great. How about that dividing range? Also great. Aspiring to greatness is what we do. It's a bit like how Ray White went from a small tin shed in 1902 to being Australasia's largest real estate group. I'm not sure what word you'd use to describe that.
Great?
Yeah, we're Ray White. Welcome to the Great Australian Dream.
I work hard for my money. And that's why I'm happy that being with Australian Super feels more like I'm in a circle than a super fund. A circle with more than 2.2 million other Australians, all powering our futures together. And it's my small, simple actions along the way, combined with the expert help I get, that grows my money in ways I never could alone. I like how it fits in here. It's Australian, it's super, and it's yours.
At the Burton family Toyota, you'll always feel welcome. You can relax with a dealership team that understands your needs.
Our priority is to offer better service and better value with no pressure.
The Burton family, Maitland and Port Stephens Toyota.
Me
Try our home loan calculator to see how much you could save. Visit mebank.com.au.
Anger is growing over the capture and killing of sharks in the Whitsundays after attacks on 2 tourists. A 4th shark, the biggest of them all, has now been shot and killed. Tonight we have exclusive vision of the moment it was captured.
Hooked on a baited line just minutes from death. Another monster tiger shark caught in Sydney Harbour this afternoon. This one, 3.7 metres, the largest captured so far.
That is the one.
4 predators now shot and killed by authorities in the same body of water where Justine Barwick and Hannah Paps were mauled.
It is a savage attack on sharks.
The use of baited drum lines is polarising the Whitsundays and the nation.
How do they know those actual sharks were the sharks that took the people?
These creatures are getting shot for us being in their territory.
It's clear swimmer safety is the priority and why our police are standing by the catch and kill approach.
We must protect people, and that's the priority before the protection of sharks. People are very concerned about marine life and the environment, and I can understand that.
The jaws of 3 of the tigers have been measured to help try and identify the predator responsible.
The 3 sharks did have their stomach contents inspected, and nothing untoward was found.
It's still unclear whether this latest capture will give us an answer. So, where and when will fisheries draw the line? The drum lines are likely to stay in place all school holidays, meaning many more sharks are facing the same fate. Justine and Hannah don't know each other yet, but together they're fighting brave battles. They say the 12-year-old is now stable and in very capable hands. She had a very traumatic experience with a bite to the thigh, but will recover. Justine's prognosis also positive. After a marathon 18 hours of surgery, her family says she is communicating using a thumbs up, nodding and, best of all, smiling. She could return home to her children in Tasmania within weeks.
With Australia constantly under cyber attack from foreign powers and criminals, those protecting our businesses and infrastructure have to be on top of their game. And one major way to make sure skills stay sharp is by having our experts battle it out against each other in cyberspace.
This looks unassuming, but it's the front line in the battle against cyber hackers.
We just know the packages installed inside it.
And in these cyber war games, this is what they're fighting to protect. Shell Cove is built from Lego and it's wired. There's a family home, traffic, even a waterfront. It's a representation of a city that relies heavily on the latest technologies, wind turbines, automated transport and vast public Wi-Fi systems. But there's a problem. Shell Cove is under attack.
We're dominating this situation and we're in control of negotiations.
And these crews are working to keep the malicious actors, as they're called, at bay.
We had a outage to our radar system very early in the game before we had found our footing in the network.
All 73 competitors volunteered. They're from private companies like Optus and Vodafone, energy giants like Woodside, AGL and Origin, and government agencies, Home Affairs, the Federal Police, ASIO and the Tax Office, all training to help protect infrastructure from a cyber threat. So top secret is some of their work, they can't be identified.
It's a really good experience. Sometimes people don't get the opportunity to see real-time cyber adversaries in action.
Back at Shell Cove, the city has been thrown into chaos.
We have a red team located over here. They're actually engaged in malicious activity.
The infrastructure has been weakened. The hackers have done their job.
We were impacted very early with some malicious activity.
The volunteers are running on little sleep. It's a deliberate tactic to keep them on their toes. They need to know how to defend, when to attack. The ultimate goal, though, is teamwork.
We've been sharing intelligence of what we're seeing and what they're seeing with the other teams, working together to ensure that we can actually protect.
They might look like lab rats and their actions at the cyber games are a spectator sport, but
what they're training to achieve has significant consequences.
People are using the internet more, it's becoming more pervasive, and it's really important that people understand what the risks are.
There's a whole range of non-state actors, criminal groups operating from different parts of the world.
There's a clear reason authorities are focused on cyberspace. They say the number of hacks targeting Australian businesses and government agencies has increased. Among them, extensive state-sponsored attacks on Australian interests that support economic and foreign policy, as well as national security issues.
I'm not going to name particular countries, but Australians, I think, would be aware that states do involve themselves as malicious actors in this space.
Thankfully, back at Shell Cove, the risk is not real. The cyber war games are over. Perhaps appropriately, Australia's law enforcement agencies won. Jonathan Kersley, NBN News.
After days of delays thanks to technical problems and bad weather, Japan has launched a rocket with supplies bound for the International Space Station. The cargo ship is stocked with lithium-ion batteries and tiny satellites for studies. There was a spectacular sight in Indonesia overnight as the Anak Krakatau volcano erupted in dramatic fashion. It's exploded at least 44 times this week, but so far no flights have been affected. The volcano is best known for its deadly 1883 eruption. Centuries after it's believed to have sunk, a shipwreck has been discovered 12 metres underwater off the coast of Portugal. It's believed the vessel went down sometime between 1575 and 1625. Marine archaeologists found spices and Chinese ceramics on board.